Good afternoon, Broncos country. Welcome to the Halftime Hash. My name is Kev Dan. We're going to be here talking about the first half of this Broncos Vegas game as the Broncos are moving in the wrong direction here as they try to move down the field within 2 minutes. And it's not looking good for the Broncos offense. And we can talk about that. We can talk about the penalties. We can talk about the mistakes. We can talk about some of the things that the Raiders are doing. But the Broncos have not looked good in this game, especially on offense in the first half. Now, Broncos are here facing a 3rd and 15 with 1 minute to go. We'll see what they do here. Definitely not what we, after that pass interference call that got us pretty good downfield there. Definitely in field goal range, but 0 touchdowns in the first half. Almost in field goal range, right on the edge there, I would say. See what Bo Nix has here. We're doing a screen and 2 yards down the field. So here we go. The Broncos just cannot get anything going at all. So we'll pull up some of the stats. I want to hear from you guys that are watching. Post in the comments, post your questions, post anything that you have to say in terms of what you saw in this first half of the Broncos game. McGlinchey, number 69. Man, oh man, has he had a rough game so far. 3 penalties all on him, and those basically killed those drives. We've had a lot of other things going on. We've already had to burn a timeout, which thankfully really didn't matter here. We are going to go for a 54-yard field goal attempt, which will at least we'll see. It's a really long field goal at sea level or not in Denver. Will Lutz kick is up and good. So the Broncos will kick it off here. Raiders will have 53 seconds and all their timeouts to respond. Looking at 10-9, though. Broncos do get the ball back to start the second half. Man, I wish we would have killed more time off the clock there. Just because, again, I don't like where the Broncos have been so far. Kellen, how you doing? Glad to see you here. I hate divisional games. Yeah, these games are always stressful. It doesn't matter what's going on. The Raiders just seem to have our number whenever we play them in Vegas, and that's what's playing out here. Some miscommunication on some long passes early on between Bo Nix and Troy Franklin. Some pressure getting to Bo Nix, so he was having to throw those early. Otherwise, they would have connected, I think, or at least had a chance to connect, but they weren't even close. So, just a lot of things early on kept the Broncos from finding that early success, and that kept the door open for the Chiefs to get something going. And when they got that 53, 55, whatever it was, yard kickoff return, that's when you saw the momentum shift. The momentum shift majorly at that moment. And it's been all smiles on the Raiders sideline. So, look, the Broncos do not deserve to be in this game right now. I'll be honest with you. It's only because of our defense that the Raiders have scored only 10 points. So we'll see what the Broncos offense can come out after halftime and do, because the way it's sitting right now, guys, it's just I don't know what to tell you. Protection's not great. Run game, let's pull up some of the stats here. We'll look at what we see here in the stats. Bear with me, guys, waiting for this to update. And, of course, the site is being ridiculous. So, looking at some of the stats here so far, Bo Nix 10 for 17, only 118 pass yards, whereas Gardner Minshew is 10 for 16, with 69 pass yards. Rushing wise, both teams not doing great rushing wise. Raiders only have 38. Broncos are looking at 44 rush yards there. McLaughlin was looking really good, 2 carries, 29 yards, and then he went down with an ankle injury. Have not seen him back. And now it looks like Randy Moss is injured. We just cannot catch a break today, guys. Randy Moss is looking really hurt right now. Wow. If we lose Randy Moss, and this Broncos players are not looking happy. I mean, anytime your teammate gets injured, you're not happy, but they're looking worried. It looks like Moss's body twisted and his knee did not. He tried to put pressure on it and instantly was just like, nope. So Randy Moss is probably done for the game. I'm looking at that. That's terrible. I don't know. I have no updates on McLaughlin. It looked like he was running on the sideline there, so hopefully we can get McLaughlin back. But we're already missing Zach Allen on the defense, and that is hurting us. You can tell there's just a lot of power there that we're missing. To lose Randy Moss too at the same time would just be bad. Allison, how you doing? Good to see you here, Kellen. A lot of pressure for sure. Offensive line is sputtering. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, guys. Gary, can we set the alarm clock to wake up the Broncos? They needed to wake up a long time ago. So, I mean, if they're just now waking up, I don't know. This is exactly what we were saying in the pregame show. All the things the Broncos need to do to win this game, they're not doing it. They're not doing well on third down. Bo Nix isn't connecting on some of these deep passes. Penalties are killing us. We had to, kill a timeout because we didn't get to the line of scrimmage in time. All these things are just bad. So it does look like Riley Moss did get up on his own. He walked over. He's in the blue tent right now, but the way he's looking and grimacing in pain, I don't expect to see him back. Raiders 2nd and 1 with 43 seconds left to go on their 40-yard line. And Broncos draw penalty. It'll be a 5-yard penalty on the Broncos. Automatic first down for Vegas. 40 seconds left to go on the clock. Man, oh man. Chris, this is exactly how I'm feeling right now. This is just, we can't do anything right today. Paula, glad to see you here. Moss being injured is very bad. Very bad for this team because we're already hurting with Zach Allen being out. So every little inch that we give the Raiders is just feeding the fire. Raiders looking to possibly get in field goal range here of their own accord before the half. They have 2 timeouts left to go. Looking to throw here. Minshew dropping back, reading the field, gets a throw out incomplete. Incomplete, right? Are we doing that? No, we don't do that for away games. Let's see. Yeah, he is walking, Chris, but he did not look like he was feeling good in any way, shape, or form. Ken, yeah, what do you tell us? Upset weekend in the NFL, and now Raiders feeling good about themselves. Look, a whole second half to play. Only down by 1 right now. Hopefully not by more, but we'll see here in a minute. 34 seconds, 2nd and 10. Again on the the Raiders 39-yard line. Only need about 20 yards to get in field goal range here. And again, they have 2 timeouts. Broncos trying to get to him. No! That's a catch within field goal range for the Raiders. About 20-yard pickup. We're not getting any pressure, guys. We're not getting any pressure. Yeah, Mike, I'm just reading out calling out the game here until it is halftime. Was hoping that we would have killed a little bit more time ourselves before we got that field goal. Thought halftime would have started here by now, but let's see. Hopefully not, Ken. Hopefully not. Knock on wood. Good Lord. Chris says, I'm not worried Denver is better now at the end. Third quarter, though, we tend to struggle in, though, so I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Sloppy. Andrew. Exactly. Very sloppy. We're playing down to the level of the Raiders, and the Raiders are taking advantage of it. We're not playing like a team that almost beat the Chiefs, although the Chiefs barely beat the Panthers today, so I don't know what you say about them. Wide open guy. Even the Broncos defense is starting to fall apart here, guys. 20 seconds to go. Raiders are going for touchdown, not field goal, which is exactly what you should be doing. But this is where the Broncos getting that penalty and not getting that first down there, settling for a field goal is killer. Well, we didn't get a penalty. We just took 2 losses. We lost for tackle for loss there. Put us well behind the chains. Gardner Minshew just eating us alive, guys. Raiders are out of timeouts. 20 seconds left to go on the Raiders on the Broncos 21-yard line. 1st and 10. Minshew dropping back, getting the throw off. Catch. Bowers, 6-yard gain. They're going to have to spike the ball for a field goal here. 5, 4, 3, spike the ball. 2 seconds on the clock. Looks like it should be Vegas 13, Broncos 9 at halftime. What a terrible half of football for the Broncos. What a terrible half of football. I'm just going to leave your comment up, Andrew. This is not what we want to be talking about at all. Man, Sean, playing kind of flat. You could say that again. We are playing very, very flat football. Oh, man, Chris, I feel your pain. This is why fans need to stay humble. Look, you can be happy with your team's success and point out that they're a better team. You know, the Broncos are a better team on paper. You can say, look, if we play our A game, there's no reason why we shouldn't win. But recognize that, look, the Raiders, and I said this in the pregame show, the Raiders are looking to spoil our fun. And it's up to the Broncos to go out there, not get complacent. It's up to the Broncos to go out there and, you know, put everything they have on the field. But what we're seeing is they're doing the complete opposite of that. So it's what we said in the pregame. This, you know, the Broncos could, you know, be in a lot of trouble, which they're in right now, if they don't play well. So it's not just the fans so much, man. I think the fans should be happy that the team is doing well, that the team's been finding success. But, you know, I don't think anybody here at the show came out and said, oh, it's an automatic Broncos win. Like, there's no chance that we're going to lose this. Let's see. Gary, not worried the Broncos still have a second, or they've been a second half team all season. Man, they better. They better, because, Sean, you're right. They got to come out of the second half with a higher motor than this crap. Look at this, guys. 44 rush yards. 44 rush yards. Javonte, 0.3 on his average. He's only had 1 rush yard on 4 carries. No run game to speak of. The passing game just isn't getting there. They're stopping most of our stuff. We're moving down the field, but then we just stall. Getting Jared up here because maybe he'll have some better things to say than I have been saying the last day. Just, oh my God, this is a match that we're talking about in the pregame of this is what we can't be doing. And we're doing all of those things.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, the only 2 big plays that really got him in this game have both been on special teams, which sucks. I'm a little bit more upset about the fact that our offense just cannot get together. And here's the thing, McLaughlin, we talked about this, right? Pre-game, we talked about this in the tailgate talk. We're ride the hot hand of who the better running back is, right? Like, who's running well? McLaughlin was running well, then he gets injured, right? And then all of a sudden, we just can't get the running game going. Now, Bo Nix is still delivering some amazing throws. And I think a big part of it, like, even some third down plays that, like, there was, I mean, 1st and 20 for a 22-yard strike. Like, people are going to be looking at that throw, like, beautiful, like, on a line all the way downfield to Vele. Vele having an amazing game too, but for some reason we just can't put together the full drive. We're getting field goals and we're not finishing it out. We're not getting touchdowns. 3 of those 3 field goals. If we get touchdowns on any one of those, a completely different game. We're talking about different game. I didn't see. Did they kick the field goal? Like, did they win?
They did.
Yeah, so 13-9. So still a 1-score game. You know, the last drive kind of sucks, right? Defensively, I'm frustrated. Defensively, I'm frustrated. We're getting zero pressure, no pressure on Gardner Minshew, and that's frustrating. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that you know, we're without one of our best defensive linemen, but even pressure, not even just sacks. Like, it's not like we're not getting to him. We're not putting him under pressure, and that's frustrating. Cool to see. I'm just rambling now, but cool to see. We're talking about defensively, you see that Pat Surtain lining up in the slot when we go man to go up against their number 1 wide receiver, which I like a lot. Hopefully Riley Moss is okay. I want to see what happens with his injury. I'm hoping something good comes out of that because, man, that was tough to see. He's a big part of this defense going forward. And yeah, that's my quick 50-cent recap on what that happened in that first half. But I'm not feeling out of it. I'm not feeling down like, this game sucks. No. We're done. Like, we're still doing the right things. Without 2 special teams plays, we're still in the lead. We just need to keep playing our game, and that's about it. Let's get some of these comments, man.
Sick of Williams. Just need to be rid of him, man. I get it. You're on the Javonte Williams train. You love the guy.
I'm the wrong person. The wrong person to say that on this show.
I'm just saying, 1 catch, 1 yard, 1 rush or 4 rushes for 1 yard.
Yeah, well, I mean, those aren't his fault though. The one they tried to rush, he was met in the 5 yards in the backfield. And then and the catch, yeah, of course, like the catch, it kind of got busted up. But yeah, we'll talk about that on Tuesday's show. Let's talk about right now. Powers and McGlinchey having a terrible game. Dude, they're going up against Max Crosby. I think people forget that.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
There's been a couple holds early on. There was a couple offensive penalties that were a little rough. And I think part of that goes down to when you're playing in a football game, and you have to realize who your coaching is or your refs are. And when they're calling like little stuff like that, they're like, okay, we need to adjust how we go about things, right? They're calling the little stuff. We need to play a little bit better. But they're getting a lot of pressure on Bo Nix. And I think it's a lot of it. I think they blitzed almost every defensive play call in the first half.
Yep. Right off the bat, very first play call, big ball, big throw down the field that Bo had a rush because the pressure just got in his face right away. And so right off the bat, you saw they were like, boom, that worked. We're going to keep doing that. So they have been.
But Bo did escape the pocket. They had his pin down in the back. He escaped the pocket, found Bailey on the edge there. So good keeping his head up, good keeping his eyes up, talking about progression for Bo. It was beautiful to see. There was one that I'm glad it wasn't picked, that he kind of threw a risky ball on a rollout, but that was about it. We're still in this game, guys. We're still in this game.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Neil, how you doing, man? Is Moss okay? So we don't have any word. We're going to hope that it's not bad. He didn't look good, so we'll see. Alan, need to figure out our tight ends and blocking Max. Yeah, so I mean, this is something we need to adjust and get him, because he's starting to make trouble between breaking up that run play and then getting the backfield and just causing trouble. He's starting to make more and more issues, create more and more issues for Bo.
I mean, they're doing an okay job pushing off, right? There was the one play I was watching, and I think it was a run to the opposite side or a pass to the opposite side where it was a run, and Max started on the outside, ended up going inside. And what you saw was, I was watching very specifically on that play, was the tight end push him back into the middle. The guy's lining up way outside for a reason, right? So that we can't do these things. He's taking them and he's passing them. Right, he's passing them to McGlinchey, which I think is the game plan for this. And so far it's been going okay. Yes, he's got his couple. We told you guys. We knew that he's gonna get his. He is a monster athlete. He's one of those guys that's 1 in a million, and he's going to be able to make plays. We've been controlling him decently so far on offense.
Yeah, agreed. Let's see. Got to get going in the second half. Paula completely agreed. Andrew, their O-line is getting the best of our D-line. Yeah, so man, it just goes back to, even if we send, because normally we just send 4 and we get a ton of pressure off of rushing 4. But even looks like if we're bringing 5, even 6 sometime, it's not doing any better.
We brought 6 and they kept a blocker in and they stopped it. It's hard because it's rough, especially when you're used to being a team that can get that pressure. And it's weird because they normally, this offensive line doesn't do this well. So I'm interested to see if we switch up some stuff. And I do want to mention too, before I forget, from the offensive side of the ball, the reason they're getting pressure too, they're throwing. I mean, this is a team with nothing to lose, right? We talked about it on the fake punt. We talked about it on a lot of things. This team has nothing to lose, and they're throwing literally everything at us. They're doing stunts, they're doing twists, they're doing everything on that try to get something, and it's working. Luckily, Bo has the legs to be able to extend plays out. But there's been a couple times it hasn't worked out, and we need to figure out, and I think these halftime adjustments are going to be big. It's not like we're just completely missing the mark. We're finding it some places, we're not finding it others. We just need to figure out where that comes together.
Yeah. Someone, I can't remember where, talked about converting more on third downs. We are only 1 for 5 on third downs. So yeah, but all those third downs are in the red zone too, and we're driving well. We're not getting ourselves into a lot of third downs. Obviously a couple of the punts, right? We've punted a couple times, but for the most part, we're driving down the field. We're getting into the red zone. It's more of the red zone offense that's struggling right now.
to be able to put the ball in the end zone, and that's where we need to fix it. And credit to the, I hate to say this, but credit to the Raiders defense. Every time when the ball gets in one of our hands, they are swarming the ball. It's a Denver Broncos defense style. Like, they are not allowing yards after catch, other than Mims had a pretty good screenplay. I think he got 8 or 9 yards on. But ultimately, and he tripped himself. If he didn't trip himself, he probably gets another 5. But I think we're playing okay. And this goes back to what Sean Payton mentioned earlier in the week. Our enemy right now is ourselves. Like, it's not the other team. Like, we are killing ourselves. We're just not playing sound football right now. And yeah, penalties, the holding penalty. And like I said, credit to Bo Nix. 1st and 20, throws a 22-yard dart to keep that, like, to not even think about, like, hey, we're not even going to worry about that penalty. We're not even going to put ourselves in a position where we have to go for 3rd and 10 or whatever. Let's just get the first down. And we drove the ball down. Again, settling for field goals is killing us. Their touchdown is obviously huge, right? We had 2 field goals. It was 6-0 at one point, and it was 6-7. And then so we need to update that. We need to get in the end zone. And then defensively, we need to stop them. Like, that's really what it comes down to. Like, they seem like they're doing kind of what they want on offense right now, and it's rough. That fake punt, again, they're a team with nothing to lose, and when you're playing against a team like that, you have to think of everything. And I think that in the second half we're going to.
So, I mean, the good news, I don't expect them to try a fake punt again. I mean, we're going to be watching for that, right? We're not going to allow that stuff. So a lot of these tricks that they pulled out of their hat in the first half, I mean, some of it they can reuse, but some of it they can't. Like, we're gonna kick the ball out of the end zone on all these kickoffs. We're not going to allow Lube or whatever his name is to get another chance at a return, right? So some of those things we saw in the first half, I don't expect to see in the second half. So those things alone would be huge. If we can just get back this momentum, which is a hard thing to do, but especially on the road. But you go down there in this opening drive, you get a touchdown off the bat, you regain the lead. Okay, here we go. Let's get this train back on the tracks.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it takes. Is I think that was a punt return, if I'm not mistaken. Was it a kickoff or punt return? I don't remember. They just got good field position, and it sucks, right? They get the field goal or the touchdown, and I don't know. Our defense is playing okay, but again, I think the offense isn't staying on there long enough to be able to give them the time to rest. And obviously, Zach Allen's injury or designation for today's game to not play is playing a much bigger part than we thought. There's just no pressure from the defensive line. So I'll be interested to see what BJ comes up with and see if we can get some sort of pressure. And maybe and this isn't like we're trying to contain a quarterback that can run. Gardner's he's ran a couple times in his career, but like ultimately, like, this is a guy that we should be able to get to. And we're just not. And we got to figure out why and get to the quarterback and pin. We used to call it pin the ears back and just go, right.
Neil, I think this Raiders losing to the Broncos today. I'm glad somebody got my joke there. Allen seems to be their biggest playmaker is Myers. So my concern is moving Pat to Myers. I mean, I don't know if Myers is really their top threat. Like, yeah, he's open, but it's like, okay, we're going to cover your top threat and we're going to challenge you to throw Myers, and we know Myers is capable, but he's not the biggest threat.
Right. And that's what we're doing, right? We're covering Brock Bowers, who is the biggest threat. And he's been held to almost nothing. I think he was 1 for 3 at one point, and there was one that I think it was the time when they did put man on man. When we do go man on man, you have to put Pat on Brock, and I don't think that changes. I think we have capable quarterbacks to cover Jacoby Myers. It's more of Gardner Minshew has a year and a half, and he's reading a book, eating a Subway sandwich, ordering Uber Eats, and before he throws the ball. Like, it's getting ridiculous to the point where we need to be able to get pressure on him so the throws that he's making aren't blown plays. And Jacoby Myers is good at those blown plays. He's finding an open guy. And not for nothing, we talked about it. Gardner Minshew is not a crappy quarterback. He is probably a mid-tier quarterback, and he's a good quarterback. He's throwing balls that are only at the places receivers can catch them. We just got to be able to pressure him. And if we can't pressure him, it's going to be more of the same in the second half.
Agreed. Well, hey guys, second half is about to get underway. Jared, thank you very much for hopping on. Everybody who tuned in, thank you very much. Don't forget about all of our other content. Monday night is the post game podcast. We also got Tuesday night Bourbon Broncos and No BS starts at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Make sure you see you there. And then we got our pregame podcast as well. Comes out at the end of the week. Game day, we got our 1 hour before kickoff. We got our pregame tailgate talk live. You guys can join us for that. And then every game day, we got our halftime hash show. So, guys, we got a lot for you. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like and share all that stuff for the algorithm. Helps us out a ton. Maybe I'll go put that on, Sean. I have it laying around right over there. So we'll see. Jared, thank you very much, sir. And let's see. I mean, I got nothing left to say other than to end it as we always do on a very strong Go Broncos.
Go Broncos. Let's go.
Let's do this, guys.